All right. It is now 6:02, and I'm going to bring the quarterly committee chair meeting to order. We're going to start with a roll call. Claricel, if you can, I'll just do it myself.
No, I can do it. I'm ready over here.
Oh.
Yeah. From Blasting, Miguel Martinez. Cultural Affairs, Felicia Salazar. Education Advisory Board, they are not attending. Elderly Affairs, Rosario, thank you. Economic Development, I don't see anybody. Mental Health, Lindsay Wallach, thank you. Neighborhood Improvement, no. Public Safety, Carlos Andres. Sports Hall of Fame, no one. Special Needs Advisory Board, hi Madeline, sorry. Veterans Bill, thank you. And Youth Activities, Brian. All right.
Thank you very much. We have 8 committees in attendance. So the very first thing is public comments. Anybody who's not a committee chair from the public that would like to make comments? Okay. Public comments are closed. Committee rules. Probably the main topic of conversation from our perspective, from the town's perspective, is if you remember at the last quarterly meeting, there was a lot of input from the committees to several of the council members that were here. There were items that were proffered as a new business item. 2 of the council members brought forward some new items, and a new set of committee rules was adopted by the council at our last council meeting. So you should have them there with you. If you don't have them, there's a stack of sets over here by the entrance. What we recommend is that you take the rules back with you to your committees, review them internally amongst the committees, review them. There's several pages, right? So you're going to need some time to go over them. Any questions that you have, you're welcome to send them through your liaison to staff for clarification. If anything is not clear, you don't understand what the changes are or the new set of rules are. Or you always are welcome to send any questions. The 2 main sponsors of the changes were Vice Mayor Morera and Council Member Herzberg. But obviously, as every item on our dais, there was a lot of input and debate by all the council members. So anything that you have that you are not clear on, any of our council members should be able to answer questions on. But once again, you're all obviously always welcome to send them to us, and we should have a good grasp on any of the changes to the rules, and we can provide those clarifications for you. Anybody have any thoughts on the committee rules now at this point? I know you're going to need some time to digest them, and then we can talk about them at our next meeting. And we're, like I said, able to clarify any questions. So we had nothing else as far as fixed on our agenda other than the distribution of the committee rules. So what I'd like to just move to then is our input from the committees themselves. I had a request from one committee and a couple other people for as early a termination tonight as possible. So we'll start with Mental Health Task Force. If you can go first.
Excuse me, before you start, if we can please add when the next meeting will be held.
Do we have that scheduled already?
No, we do not have that date, but let the record reflect that Mr. Jim Hamilton has joined us from Sports Hall of Fame.
We'll get that put together in the next week or so, and then we'll email it to all of you so you guys have that earlier better than last minute.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No, you're fine. Good evening. My name is Lindsay Wallach. I'm the chair for the Mental Health Task Force. I am happy to report that our meeting quorum. We were able to put together a few events last year. We've had the first Mental Health Awareness Fall Festival, and we had a great turnout of almost 30 mental health providers that came in. We had Senator Rene Garcia come and speak, and a couple other speakers. We have already that date in place for this year, which is going to be October 18th. And I hope to bring even more mental health providers to that one. We already have a lot of people that participated last year that want to join again for this year. We are also going to be hosting a Responding with Compassion workshop May 15th. We're working with Officer Amador over here to bring in the CIT Coalition, Thriving Minds, and also West Care Response. Basically, what that's going to be about, and I would really hope for everybody to share that, is if anybody here has a family member or somebody that they know that's dealing with mental health and they are to have a crisis call, the person is in crisis, instead of calling 911, these other options that are available through Miami-Dade County that are free, that they will send a licensed mental health therapist to assist and de-escalate the situation. And there's also going to speak on all the education that the police department is getting in how to respond to these crisis calls. So it's going to be very informative, and anybody can come out to this. Everybody should come out to this, actually. And that, I think, is basically it. I think we have other initiatives, but I think I have to run those with council and get approved before I guess, speak upon them.
Yeah, anything that the council has not approved in the past, sometimes there's things like, for instance, the Veterans Day Parade. We do
Yeah.
that every year. They don't have to come every year, other than for funding, but not for approval of
Got
the
it.
actual event. If there's new initiatives or new events that you want to put forward,
Yeah.
then yeah, you bring those to the council, and the
council.
council approves them and just gives you the green light. When you do that,
Mhm.
it would be good for you to stipulate to them that we plan to do this on an annual basis, and that way it'll avoid you having to come back every year.
Correct.
And then it'll be a
through.
standing approval for, year
Got
to
it.
year.
Okay, perfect, awesome, yeah, awesome. And I think that's about it. If anybody has any questions, anything?
Anybody have any questions? All right.
No? All right, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Elderly Affairs. Yeah, Felicia, the mic is right there in front of you. If you can just pass it over. No, we're gonna go from the bottom up on that column. I'm gonna keep you all off balance on the order. Elderly Affairs. Educate, the other one, Economic Development, they're not here.
Okay, it's me, Rosario. They call me Charo. My group is great. Every day, more and more people go to our bingos and our lunches. We have, I think, 6 activities this month. We have bingo. We have some kind of art, blowing glass or something. We're going to go see a play in Coral Gables. We have our social, and then we have a meeting. Like an educational thing for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. We have now, I think, 18 members, and we're doing really well. We have enough money, so we're fine. Anybody have any
Perfect.
questions?
Kumbaya.
Yes, sir. And people are really enjoying it. What we're hearing,
Kumbaya.
what we're hearing is that people are really having a great time.
Great.
We have to cut off, I think before our bingos, they go on at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I think by 5, we're full.
Perfect.
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah, that's the seniors
Yeah,
love
the same day.
events.
People are registering every which way. And we went to see South Pacific, and it was wonderful.
Nice.
That's it.
All right. Cultural Affairs, questions? Microphone. Remember, we're transmitting, so we just got to make.
Oh, Felicia Salazar, just have a comment or suggestions for Charo. I know you go to plays, and the other night at our meeting, Charles James, who's works for the Main Street Playhouse, they're having a Hispanic, I don't know if it's 1 day or 2 days. They're gonna have dancing and at the Playhouse. So check it out. You can check to them to see if they give you a good rate, and then just basically here. So you're supporting our local theater group too.
We're going to see Waitress at the Coral Gables Performing Arts. Okay. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Felicia, you get the mic back. Cultural Affairs next.
Oh, okay. Felicia Salazar again. We had a few, I don't know, when was the last time we had our meeting?
I would say about 3 months ago.
3 months ago? Okay, no, because I want to go down okay, we had, in February, we had our Florida Memorial University concert, the chorale was very, very good. I mean, that group is one of the best, I think. It was it was a little bit confused because they changed the time and the attendance was, but again, it was a wonderful event. I wish we had more people that night, but maybe for the next one, we'll fill it up. The next item was the Women of Distinction Awards ceremony, which was here. And the lady here on my left, she chaired that, coordinated that event. It was wonderful. We had one of the winners here, Claricel, and our keynote speaker was our county mayor, Daniela Levin Cava. It was wonderful. So it was very well attended, and everybody enjoyed it. And you know, she did a great job, by the way. She had, you know, some people helping her, but she took it on herself. So I'm very proud of her work. So the next one is we're coming up is with Paint a Picture for Mom, May 10th at the Farmers Market. So I think we're sold out. So basically is to see if the amount of people that sign up come, but we get a lot of people that walk-ins. So we hope to have a beautiful, I don't know if it's going to be a cool day, but we'll get a good turnout like we always do. And then coming up, we have Father's Fishing Tournament, Independence Day celebration. We have a new orchestra for August. It's called Music for America. It's the same musicians. For the past 3-4 years, we didn't have a conductor. So this year, hopefully, we get our conductor. And it's the same people that used to come before, but I guess they split up. But it's basically the same musicians that they go to from one orchestra to the other. So we're looking forward to that. And it's a very well-attended event, too. And then Book Talk in September. We already have it's going to be in here, and the author is going to be in attendance. So it's called The Red Umbrella. So I recommend, if you know anybody who was part of the Pedro Pan, what do they call it? I don't know, because I was a program that 14,000 children were flown to the United States to protect them from the communist regime that took over the island. And it's a story about two, a girl, teenager that came over. So, it's a story of exile. So we look forward to that, and having her, present will be exciting, and she will be signing books. And then also we're doing the collaboration with economic development with our Main Street concerts. They have been, for the season, we have, I think, 2 more concerts. The one coming up May 16th from 7:30 to 9:30. And the word is getting out, so we're getting more attendance as we go. And then we close in June, and then we'll start getting the calendar for next year if we get the funding. So we're going to be working on, how to, fund the rest of the season next year. So other than that, we're, moving along.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Cultural Affairs? Thank you, Felicia. Blasting.
Miguel Martinez, Blasting Advisory Board. Rudy couldn't make it today. It was unfortunate. Tallahassee is going, basically we'll consider it's under turmoil, that the House and the Senate, they're in disagreement, apparently, and no bills are being pushed forward properly. That being said, the bill that Tom Fabricio, state rep, on our behalf, wasn't even heard. It was dead in the water, as most bills were. He spoke to me day before yesterday, that only 11 bills have gone through. That being said, he's going to resubmit it in next session. Yesterday we had our meeting, and a lot came to light. For me, it was personally disturbing. We have a new member, Edwin Orr, who's an engineer, who took data from the state statistical data from the state and created a bunch of diagrams where it shows how the complaints that the public has been submitting of the blasts that they've been receiving has been diminishing significantly. I see it personally as a problem in that we haven't continued to get the word out, the marketing and the campaigning that we need to do. Because it would appear, if you're just looking at statistical data on the recipient end, as in Tallahassee, that the problem is dying off, when in fact the problem is getting worse, a lot worse. Today we had 2 blasts, a significant blast, and people are feeling it even further out than previously. That being said, we need to make sure everybody's aware of the blasting complaint website and file their complaints so they could show that the magnitude is significant, the magnitude of the problem is significant. So we're going to begin engaging a new marketing campaign endeavor, and hopefully it'll continue to excite the public and what's going on. Hopefully there'll be a change of course of action come the new legislative session, when Fabricio submits the bill again, and there'll be plenty of traction then. We also come to light that the Speaker of the House is in disagreement with our issue. He's from Hialeah. That's a problem. So that's going to be another major endeavor we're going to sway his opinion of what's occurring as well. So pretty much that sums it up.
Who is it? 1 or 2 quarries that are like the bad actors, or they're all blasting?
2, CEMEX and White Rock Quarries.
And are they the only ones in our area? There's some in our area that are blasting within the allowed limits, and they're okay.
Yeah, they're in one's in Medley, and there's no problems then. Further down south, they're blasting at a level that the machine doesn't even detect that they're blasting at all. So it's undetectable. So that shows that sets a precedence that the operations can exist at a level that doesn't bother anybody, which is obviously that's the ideal situation. But these 2 companies in particular, White Rock is the worst. Behind them is CEMEX. They are over and beyond, even at illegal limits. There's a caveat in the state law that they set a precedent of the limit of 0.5 peak particle velocity, 0.5 inches per second, which is the speed at which the energy wave travels. However, the state law mandates that it's outside the 0.5 ppv is inside the UDB, the urban development boundary, which is basically Chrome Avenue, when you think about it. Well, their mines all exist on the west side of UDB. So they're outside the boundary. They will never blast at a legal limit because they're not in the legal limit area. Little caveat that they put for themselves. And I've questioned Tallahassee. I said, Miramar is an example. They are 600 feet from a blast site, $1 million homes. What are you to tell them? And you're blasting at 0.7, recorded by your machines. No answer. So the data's there. It's just a matter of sharing it and advising what they're doing. It's their own data.
Thank you. Anybody questions of blasting? All right.
I actually have a comment. So I think like a lot of what we do on social media, obviously, it's the best vehicle to reach residents. When you put that out, give us a link. I would more than happy do that to, get it out to my feed. The councilmen do a very good job at, marketing the events. That's something else that, collectively we can reach a lot of people. So please send me the link.
Yesterday, speaking about social media, I shared a screenshot of the Miami Lakes Connect app, and I highlighted report blasting with a hyperlink as to where to download the app. The Lakes Connect app is something that we've invested in. We've had it for many, many, many years. More people get on it, the more information we'll be able to gather about blasting, as long as it's reported. It's not we're going to go into someone's phone and detect if it's shaking from a blasting. It doesn't work that way. It's we respect everyone's privacy, but they can report blasting, they can report potholes, sidewalks, any repairs that we need, lights that are not working, anything like that. But right on the homepage, it says report blasting without having to go to an extra menu. And I posted that on social media yesterday. I got a few inquiries about it because I had only posted the one for the iPhone link and not the one for Google, and I went ahead and did that. But that is the easiest way And now we're modifying it to send out push notifications about events and different things that are going to be happening in town. But the app is very useful.
So there you go. He was ahead of the curve. So, I mean, if, like the councilman said, that I'll go ahead and share it in my story. And again, for those Instagram users, sometimes you got to repost a link, because when you add it to your story, it will not carry the link.
Right.
So just make sure that we do it, please. I want to help with this issue.
If you're on Facebook, there's a page, Blasting Victims Seeking Justice. It was created by David Bennett years ago. I'm an admin of that page, and a lot gets posted on there. Albert Aguilar reposts, and I share the post from there on the Miami Lakes residents page, and also on the Nextdoor application. All my posts are there on Nextdoor. If you go there, do a query for blasting with 3 exclamation marks, and you'll see all my information that I've shared. It's extensive.
The main thing is that all this data is getting to the state.
No, these are my postings. Now, depending what the post is about, may link provide the link to the state. As the last one I did was just that. We need everybody to continue to file their complaints.
So then the Miami Lakes app is connected directly to the state.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
The link that is on the Miami Lakes Connect app takes you directly to the state page where you submit your complaint.
Cool.
And
Thank
that's
you.
the official complaint, by the way. Yesterday I had somebody wrote me, well, I sent the complaint to Mayor Cava, the Mayor of Miami Lakes, the Mayor of Miramar, and I'm like, did you send it to the Tallahassee, to the Miami-Dade pilot program? That's the official complaint. Oh, what's that?
Okay. Well,
Here's the.
we're your cheerleaders. We'll go ahead and do that as much as possible. And I guess I can, not text Blanco every single time it happens. 'Cause I always text him like, dang, that was pretty bad. So now I can actually do something about it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Next is Youth Activities Task Force.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Youth Activities Task Force is doing fairly well. As of right now, last weekend we had our Spring Fling event. Huge success. There's a few things that we could tweak here and there, just like every other year. But overall, huge success. Right now, our committee is doing great when it comes to the actual committee itself, with committee members showing up to meetings. A lot of new people wanting to join the committee. I know every meeting we have at least like 20 guests joining our meetings just to see if they could join the committee, but we have no openings for students. But overall, it's doing great. But with that, I do have a few questions for the town, a few issues that was brought up that they asked me to bring up here. One of the things is, really quick, when it comes to our committee members, I know it's a designation of students and adults. If a student turns 18, can they convert to an adult member?
It would depend if there is an opening for an adult.
Yes, there is. That's what I wanted to know, because we have like 3 adult positions open, but
Yeah, and because each person on there, whether adult or student, right? No, I guess all the adults are appointed by a council member.
yeah, everyone is.
Even
Everyone
the
is.
student?
But yeah, but the rules state that it cannot be no more than 7 students on the committee. So it could be all adults, but we cannot have more than 7 students. But we do have students on the committee that have turned 18. They are technically still students, but 18. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get.
I believe that it would be fine, that they convert to an adult spot.
Perfect, because then it would open up more student spots for others to join, because we have a long waiting list of students that are interested in joining the committee.
We
Yeah, I don't
believe-
think it specifies on there. That's why we were asking.
Yeah, we believe it should be okay, but we'll double check.
Got it. Another issue, I have 2 more issues and I'll try to keep this quick. One thing that was brought up or that I've been seeing lately is that our committee votes on something, or before we could even vote on something, we're told that town staff said no. Before we even voted on it as a committee, it didn't go through council, didn't go through anyone else. Town staff said no.
Being told by who?
By our liaison told us that town staff said no.
Okay, like what example?
Let's say we have an idea, and I'm just giving like an example. I wanted to do a helicopter at Easter, right? Or at Spring Fling.
Because they could be things that have come up in the past and
But
they've already
it's
had
something new. Well,
something-
I'm just giving that as an example because I can't think of anything else right now. But let's just say I wanted to do this for the first time ever. No, town staff said no.
Yeah, it,
But technically, we never voted on it as a committee. Or if we vote on something, there's, instead of saying the council said no, or we can't do that, some random person in the town, because there's no name ever attached to it, town staff said no.
but I guess the way it's being posed, the question that you're posing is kind of too abstract for me to be able to tell you it's yes or it's no, it's appropriate, it's not appropriate. So I would need to have a little more definitive information, like on this day, this thing was being discussed and
Yeah,
this
I'd
happened.
have to look at the minutes.
Right, and that's
but-
what I mean. So if
But I'm
if you
just
can put that
giving-
together, no issues, send it to me and then I'll be more
Oh,
than happy.
actually, I do have an example. Sorry. And this was something that was going to be my next question. My committee in December hosted a holiday event. We had a drone show planned, fully funded. It was approved by the Federal Aviation Administration. It was not being flown over people. Town staff said no.
Okay, I'll find out. When was that? What meeting was that discussed?
The December meeting, and actually before that, so November of last year. And it was fully funded, fully sponsored,
So it was
not coming out
November or
of the committee
December?
budget.
November or December?
One of those, correct?
One of the two.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll find out and I'll let you know.
Yeah, everything was approved by the FAA. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to
Well,
figure out. It wasn't,
we're-
the council
Let
didn't
me
even
find
know
out
about
whether
it.
exactly what happened because nobody can give a, I
Yeah,
can't give an
but I
opinion.
can confirm that I did talk to the council at the time. The council didn't know about it. So if it's something that's completely sponsored, funded, not coming out of taxpayer pockets, and it's a flat out no. I know Amador was there for that. Amador or Officer Amador knew about it when they told us no, that we couldn't do the drone show that was fully funded. Okay, October then.
Before November?
Yeah, so just things like that. Different things that we try to do as a committee, we go to vote, or before we even vote on it, it's a flat out no, not happening.
Well,
So-
it depends, right?
But I still believe as a committee, we are appointed by the council. We should be able to vote on things. Even if it's a no, we should still be able to vote on it. And they tell us whether it's yes or no, not the town staff.
But-
You understand what I'm saying?
But, and that's why I say that the way it's being questioned or proposed or posed the question is too abstract for me to give you an opinion, right? Because if you were to say, we want to ride unicorns down Main Street, no, right? That any logical person. So it all,
But either way, if I wanted to ride a unicorn down Main Street, why can't we? If we vote yes on it, that's up to the town council to say yes or no. If we find the unicorn somehow, right? That, I'm just using an example. Anything that we want to do as a committee, it doesn't matter. If we could put our mind to it and we could get it done, even if it's sponsored and not used by taxpayer money, instead of just saying, oh, the town staff said no,
we'll take a look.
not the council. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'll take a look at the dynamics and the conversation and exactly what was proposed and what was the reply, and then I'll have an answer for you.
Got it. Thank you.
What else?
That's it.
Just as props, I went to the Spring Fling this year with my family and our two grandsons, and they had a blast.
Thank you. Yeah, I was
Great
technically.
job. And everybody I spoke to and everybody, because of course I'm the town manager, I tried not to wear the garb because I'm trying to stay under the radar on the events like that. But people who know me and they say, hey, this thing was great. The kids had a blast. So to you and your entire committee, big kudos.
Thank you. Thank you. Technically, I wasn't supposed to be there. I was technically out of town. I came back a day early, surprised my committee and was there. But overall, I know there was a bunch of people. The council was there. It was a huge event, a lot of people, and we have big plans for next year. We just need to figure that out. There's a lot of logistics that go into it,
Understood.
and a lot of high school volunteers there that day. So
All right. Thank you very much. Bill, Veterans Affairs.
Good evening, everyone. Bill Perez, Veterans Committee. April, we had the Vietnam Veterans 50th anniversary celebration. We had a Fishing with America's Finest event, and it was well attended. May 10th, we have Judy Day, which we're honoring Judy Farcasera. Mary Collins Center, we planted a tree, and we're going to be honoring her because all the stuff that she's done for veterans. She's raised over $150,000 for the Veterans Committee with the Reindeer Run. May 26th, we have Memorial Day, 10 a.m. at Mary Collins Center as well. Everyone's invited. So I'm going to have a good thing and then a question. The good thing is Isabella, our town liaison, is fantastic. And I just want to say that publicly. She provides excellent support to our committee. She does a great job, keeps me informed and everyone informed in the committee. We're very pleased with her.
We're very fortunate to have her.
Yes, yes, you sure are. Whatever you're paying her, double it. All right. It's on the record. Veterans Monument. And that's not now. So here's a question I have. All right, we gave you money, buddy, for the Veterans Monument planning. When's the ETA for the plan to be done? Do you know? Remember we funded that thing?
The design,
The design, exactly.
I'd have to check. I'll
All right.
find out though.
If you can let me know, because a lot of the fundraising that we're going to be doing for the actual build is dependent upon when the design is done, so we can show people what we're trying to build. You know, people like to donate to a picture as opposed to a nothing. You know, so that'll be helpful.
The funding for that was just completed by the council, the
Right.
funding that was necessary
Right?
during the budget amendment that the council just passed.
Yeah, I
with
know.
second
I
reading.
shook them all down. I know.
Yeah. Whatever did, it worked. So we got to talk later.
Okay. All right.
So I'll double check and see what the next step is from staff to
Yeah.
see as far as the letting of the contract for the design and so forth.
Because I know the
I'll
committee.
get it. We normally get a timeline with those
Yeah.
kinds of things.
Yeah.
So I'll let you
I
know.
know the committee donated over $28,000 to this, and I think the build was like 36. So I think the town put in 8 or something like that. So we'll appreciate whatever you can do. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Special Needs Advisory. You need a microphone, Madeline?
Hello, Madeline Santana, Vice Chair of the Special Needs Advisory Board. In the past 3-4 months, we've had our Autism Resource Fair, our Autism Bike Ride, Hope for Autism Fashion Show, Fashion Show and Talent Show. Martial arts, our classes for martial arts are now being expanded to 2 days a week instead of 1. The dance classes for Arts for Autism are still going on. We had a picnic with Card, and we're continuing with the cooking classes at Gigi's. Coming up, we go have the 4th of July sensory room that the past 2 years have been great. We're also going to be collaborating with La Moya Foundation, De Moya Foundation. We're also starting with our 3rd semester of animation classes starting this week. We're going to be updating Sensory Park feature for one of our parks. We're still in the works. And we're going to have a workshop geared to the special needs community. That's it for this. Now, I have a question. I'm new. Can I ask a question about this, the community rules?
Were you here when we first handed them out at the beginning of the meeting?
I heard you talk about sending a liaison if you have any questions, but I
no.
didn't have questions then.
Okay, if you have questions?
I have a
now?
question.
All right, well, we'll try and clear them up. If not, we'll get an answer for you.
Okay, one of the things that I was asked to ask was about quorum, but I see that on section 8, the quorum is still the same, 50% plus 1. So that's clarified. Now, at the end of it, it says, remote appearance as defined in section 10E shall not be counted towards quorum. Correct? But then, I could be the one confused. Then on section 10X from G, It says, when calling a voice vote, the chair should orally confirm the votes of any committee members appearing remotely, separate from those attending in person. So it doesn't count for quorum, but it does count for their vote.
Correct.
That's it.
Yeah, that's an easy one. That's a Robert Rules of Order. I mean, the modified Robert's Rules of Order.
I didn't know we could do remote.
Yes. Yeah. The same thing happens at the council level. The council level, once in a blue moon, one of the council members has to participate remotely. They do not count for, they call it physical quorum. Physical quorum has to be a certain number, the same with your committees. Physical quorum in person here with a heartbeat sitting in a chair has to be a certain number. But if you participate remotely, your vote does count.
Automatic attendance, if you miss more than 3, I think it was that I just saw, or a total of 5, either excused or unexcused, do we just let the liaison know to remove that person? Thank you.
Okay. Sports Hall of Fame, Mr. Hamilton, I guess you're,
Thank you. I'm Jim Hamilton. I'm filling in for Roman Garcia, our chairperson. So back last year, we arrived at a date that will be a set in stone kind of date for the Sports Hall of Fame. It'll be the second Saturday in December. And this past December 14th, we had 3 inductees. Normally we have 4 to 5, but we had a health issue with one of the athletes that was inducted, and the hope is this year he'll be okay to be inducted. So we'll again be looking for 3 to 4. We have a deadline of August the 1st that the town can submit nominations for this award. Our budget is set at this past year close to $5,000. We raised 80% of that, and the town provided the other 20%. The Sports Hall of Fame, we've had 7 classes. Again, we typically have 4 to 5 inductees, and it's been quite successful. In December, at the last induction, we had over 100 guests. We provide food for everybody at the event, and it's only an annual event, so it's been very easy to operate now that we've had like 7 classes. That's pretty much it. I guess the only other thing is we do need 1 more committee member. We're missing. To make our 7th member, we're missing 1. So,
and the council member who has the vacancy is aware that they have a vacancy on your committee?
I believe that is true.
Okay,
Right.
that would be the only thing, just to make sure that they're aware of it. That
Right.
they have almost, whatever it is, 10 committees, so they have a lot to keep track of. So it's just important, make sure that Gina or the clerk's office is aware to notify. And I think that they notify each council member of all their vacancies, on a routine basis, but it's important for them to be aware.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
when do you open up nominations for the next class?
Yes. Pardon? It's already open. It is open now, and the deadline, I believe, is August 1st. Right.
All right, perfect.
That's the help we need, and I encourage anybody that would like to come out to come out on Saturday, the second Saturday in December. It's a really fun evening. It's at the Optimus Park. It's outdoors. We've been lucky with the rain, so we've skirted that. But everybody that comes back that had any type of activity in that park, whether it was Coach Shula's kids that came back or Mandich's kids, Orange Barger's kids, they left kind of teary-eyed. They thought it was just a great event. I was uncertain going outside the response, but it's just been wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Public Safety Committee.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Carlos Andres, Public Safety Committee. Before I get into my committee, I just want to commend all of you. Every time I come to these meetings, well, this is the only second one, but I'm inspired by all the work that we do for our community. We really make Miami Lakes a great place by our individual specialties that we do. And I think that our partnership with the chairs is very important, that we continue to do that like we just did with the Blasting Advisory Board. I just had an event with Elderly Affairs to talk about text and phone call scamming, which was very well, response from the elderly community. Like that, there's many things that we could work together on. I mean, Cultural Affairs, great job on the Miami Lakes Main Street, concerts, great way to get people to visit our local businesses, which are the cornerstone of our community. So nonetheless, just, wanted to say that, and more than anything, just to strengthen the partnership we have. Like some of the things that I want to hear from you all is what's going on in your neighborhoods, that we can talk to the sheriff's department, anything that we can do with the fire department. The fire department is something that, unfortunately, we really haven't had too much communication with in the past. And it's something that, I'm really spearheading, to make sure that our committee gets in front of the fire department more. And that's something that, I'll go into now with some of the things that we're working on. But essentially, before I even get there, what's more important is that in 2 days, it's May. May is a very important month for our Law Enforcement Appreciation Month. We have several events planned. We actually were lucky enough to get the support of the Miami Lakes Chamber of Commerce to have our very own Major Gonzalez speak. He's the guest speaker on May 14. So if you all want to join, he'll be talking about, his history and topics around the town. The next day, which is Peace Officers Memorial Day, we'll be having our Coffee with a Cop at Einstein Bagels, which I think very exciting about going to have some bagels. This is a good opportunity to get some of the folks to go out there and, have that FaceTime with our law enforcement to discuss issues at hand. There's little things that are coming up here and there that we want to hear about. We want to get geared up for the summer to make sure that, we have, the right protocols in place for our non-emergency situations that you have to call. Speaking of non-emergency, there's a new non-emergency number that we have to be putting out there, blasting on social media, 305 Sheriff. Thank you to Deputy Amador for making a joke that became true. But nonetheless, we have that going on. Later in the month, on May 22nd, in partnership with Councilman Sanchez, we have an event that is happening it's a private event to have lunch on for the law enforcement folks and the fire department here in Town Hall, May 22nd. Again, just a private event, but something to show a little appreciation. This is brought to you by CCMS, which is a private company, and Tico Casamayor, which helped make this possible. And we're in discussions to have our next coffee with a medic, which is something new that has been coming out of the fire department. We'll be discussing more initiatives with that. And then, we're planning our very big event that will be happening later on this year. So I'll be probably calling some of the folks that handle these big events to get some advice. This is going to be a car show that we're doing to honor those in law enforcement and the fire department. So nonetheless, I'm here, all ears to help out. My committee members are as well. Giancarlo's here. We want to hear what's going on in your neighborhoods. We just had something recently that happened in my neighborhood. Somebody that was knocking on the door, felt like somebody was breaking in, and it was a kid just doing a prank. I'm hearing things from neighbors of kids trespassing, for the summer. So these are situations that we need to, figure out as a community how we can have a uniform response and make sure we get our law enforcement what they need to handle these calls. So thank you.
Any questions?
Yes. The people that came to speak our bingo, who were they, and do you have his number? 'Cause
Yes.
one of the elderly wanted to speak with them.
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. So that's actually a great resource. That is actually Citizens Crime Watch. So they are sponsored by our sheriff's department. That's been a great connect. We actually want to do an event in the
We
future.
want them to come back, yeah.
Yeah, to discuss the texting is he was 15 minutes really is limited for him. So there's a lot of resources there that we got to tag into. We've all been getting those text messages of SunPass being expired. We're all getting those gift card requests, and all those different things. So he's trying to get in front and make sure no one falls for those scams. So he'll definitely be back. But also more importantly is May 27th, I think, is women's self-defense class. The RAD program that's going on in Roberto Alonso. So we're looking for folks to sign up for that event. It's a 3-day event. 27 to 29. So, you know, when you're done with that event, you'll get to beat up on Amador. So he's the ultimate test.
I can hold my own.
I had a quick question. Once you guys were done for town stuff, if that's okay. Just for you guys really
ahead.
quick, before we finish the meeting, I forgot to bring this up, but when we have our meetings in the community meeting room, it's happened a few times now where the computer is not logged in. So we cannot live stream our meetings and it holds us back almost an hour, 30 to 40 minutes. One time it held us back an hour just to try to get to log into the live streaming application. I don't know if we could give that to the liaisons. I don't know if any other committee's having that issue or has had that issue where we can't live stream our meetings, or it's just holding us back because our liaisons trying to contact IT or someone else, try to get the login to the Google account or whatever it is, just to go live.
We'll make sure that the liaison's trained on that function.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Oh.
Just, oh, sorry, Miguel. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, are we switching to open forum now?
Well, I mean, our committee reports are committee reports / open format, so.
Okay. It's a, I guess a recommendation and a request. And I'd like to read, just to preface this real quick. For Robert's Rules of Order, the presiding officer, the chair, is responsible for determining the quorum is present at a meeting. So we're getting emails of reminders for the meeting, which is fantastic. But then in it, it's to respond if you're going to make it, to make quorum or not. That's not when quorum's decided. Quorum's decided by the chair at the meeting. That being said, I think it would behoove all of us if we had, which we started. I remember when the BAB was first started, introduction meeting was a introduction to Robert's Rule of Order and how meetings are conducted and all that. I think it'd be fantastic to have a refresher of that. Most people that are in there, everybody's new. Have what the difference between parliamentary procedure, Robert Rules of Order, all these things. And if quorum isn't met, then a meeting can be converted to a discussion as opposed to having as opposed to canceling the meeting. All these items, I think it's imperative, I think, if everybody's aware of it.
Yeah, I could tell you that the reason why that happens is as a courtesy, right? Because it doesn't matter to us, but as a courtesy to the other board members, that if you're going to be short of quorum, to cancel the meeting if there's not going to be a meeting, right? Because people are going to show up there and said, if there wasn't going to be a meeting, I wouldn't have shown up, because obviously everybody's time is super valuable, right? So the reason why that happens is because of a courtesy to the other board members if you're not going to have quorum. So, I mean, if that's a distinction that your committee wants to do it a different way, I don't foresee that being.
But as far as the quorum is, or courtesy is fine, but the issue is if a quorum is not met, then the people in attendance can convert the meeting into a discussion legally.
Yes. Yeah, there's just no action to be taken.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that.
So not everybody's aware of that, though.
Right. The other thing that you mentioned was, I had what are the other thing that you mentioned?
The parliamentary procedure.
Oh,
Robert
the
Rule of Order.
refresher. We'll look at that, because I'm sure that since the last time we've had a refresher, that there's been a lot of new, and annually we do that. But what I may want to do is have a conversation with staff, see if it makes sense maybe to just do just a generic one, Robert's Rules of Order, night, and then have any committee member who wants to come be in attendance.
There was at one point, I want to say 3 years ago, maybe, you had an attorney that specialized in
Yeah.
Robert's rules. It was
Yeah, we
excellent.
kind of, and we brought it, we didn't do it this time. Because the council are all, even though we have a lot of new council members, they're all people who are familiar with Robert's rules because they all served on committees. In the past, we've had new council members that have come on and haven't been necessarily that versed in committee work. So we've always done that, not always, periodically we've done that, where we've had this gentleman come in and he gives a tutorial for the new members of the council on that, and then we invite committee members if need be. So we'll explore whether that makes sense to do it again.
I'm pretty sure, and I just wanted to check because you mentioned the Robert's Rules of Order. I don't know if this happens anymore, but when people, and I know when I was also appointed 12 years ago or 13 years ago, whatever it is now, I forget, but it was still happening a few years back when people were appointed to committees and sworn in by the town clerk. They were given a copy of the committee rules and a copy of like Robert's Rules of Order. Can that be done?
I'm almost
still?
sure that that is still being done, but you know, getting a document with a bunch of rules is not, maybe not as effective as having a tutorial that people can sit there, ask questions, because they may read something and not necessarily understand exactly what they're reading. The face-to-face personal interaction gives them an opportunity to ask questions, or somebody else asks a question that they can benefit from. So that's why those tutorials have been valuable in the past.
Yeah, and if for anyone having issues with Robert's Rules of Order, because my committee does use that a lot and I put an emphasis on it, the code of conduct for town committees covers a lot of it too. So if you want to go over it with your committee, then it'd be a little bit easier. You just go over this and that covers most of it.
About Robert's Rules of Order, a prime example is what we do up on the dais. So for example, I see this all the time, and it's just because committees get comfortable with each other, the members get comfortable with each other, and it's perfectly normal. You guys are around each other, you do a lot of events together. It turns into a quasi-family in the committee. But just because someone says through the chair and they start speaking, that's not Robert's Rules of Orders. Through the chair is that they're requesting permission from the chair. And until the chair says you have permission to speak, that person cannot just say through the chair and continue speaking. The same way that when we're up there, each one of us has a turn to speak through Josh, through the mayor. The mayor says, it's your turn, then it's your turn, then it's your turn. We don't just say through the mayor and we start speaking. That's one thing. Okay, there's certain things that go into Robert's Rules of Orders. Just like yesterday, I was in a meeting where they called the question. Did you know that to call the question, in order to end that discussion, you need a 2/3 vote? Just because someone calls a question doesn't mean the discussion ends. A 2/3 vote is a supermajority. These are little things in Robert's Rules of Order that go a long way. It's those details that make a difference. They're just not Robert's rules. There's a reason we all use them. Not just the committees, we use them as well on the dais, which is why we know them so well. So remember, those little details make a difference. Now, when I came on board to the Veterans Ad Hoc and eventually the Veterans Committee, we did have a session with Lorenzo at the time, and I think it was like 3 or 4 hours over at Robert Alonzo Center. So maybe we can bring up, maybe an NGI, but we're both here, so we can't talk about this right now. But it's, it's an idea to refresh the training to help out all the committees.
Anything else you wanted to add? I was going to call on the two of you to see if there's any comments about anything dealing with committees or anything about the town you guys wanted to add before we close.
Yeah, well, just the big one is the attendance one. We did change the rolling calendar. Does everybody know what a rolling calendar means? Because it used to be that it was January to December. If you missed 2 meetings, November, December, and then missed January, it didn't matter. It was until December, and then it was 1 absence, but now it's a rolling calendar. So if you miss 3 unexcused, you're automatically removed. It's a rolling calendar now. That's one of the things that's on there that's a little different. But yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to your liaison or us, or, and we'll clear it up for you.
Councilmember Herzberg, you good?
Mr.
All
Manager,
right.
just to make sure, this came up recently. These rules are effective already?
Yes, they were effective with the passage at the last council meeting.
Right.
With
Yeah,
the
just making
adoption.
sure, because I know it came up in my committee if they were effective or not, but they most certainly are effective. And then now the attendance will be a requirement when you submit your report to town clerk. She will not accept it if the attendance is not on there.
Correct. All right. If there's no further business, no further questions, we stand in adjournment. See you in 3 months. And we'll try and get you a date sooner better than later, Carlos, so you guys can plan ahead on the date.